Hey, welcome. This is Sig Taylor with Fish Out Loud. Hey, I've got special guest, Patrick Mallard, who's a professional tournament angler here. We live close to each other. We live here on the Panhandle of Florida. And I've got South Africa's best, Jason and Calvin, who are going to be traveling to Florida here shortly to fish the Bassmaster World Team Championship on the Harris Chain. So what better way to get them in front of Patrick Malley, who, full disclosure here, Patrick and we fished the state championship, which happened to be on the Harris Chain here this last October. And Patrick made some amazing moves here on day two. Just want to share a little bit what he was able to do. Patrick, after day one, was sitting in 64th place. He shot on day two all the way up to 13th place, came in with the largest sack on day two, over 19 pounds. He had the large bass of the day, a 6-pounder and 6.63 pound largemouth. And, since we were rooming together, after the first day, we kind of talked about, hey, let's kind of fish together. And we saw each other for a couple hours first thing in the morning. And then he decided to move north a little bit, just a few hundred yards. I decided to go south a little bit, which was not the right move for me to do. But with that being said, Patrick's going to tell Jason and Calvin a little bit of what he did, what he expected to do during the tournament. And then we'll ask questions in between. This is all to help you out, Jason and Calvin, coming up for this team world championship. And not only that, but if you're on here listening, possibly help you too when you go to the Harris Chain. All right, Patrick, again, congratulations for an awesome move and great weight day two.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Go ahead. Tell me a little bit about the story on what you're able to do, why you chose to do what you did the first day, because I was all over. I went to three different bodies of water that day.
Yeah. Well, like Sid mentioned, we got down to the Harris Chain in practice. The weather was hot. Normally, we don't have the state tournament that time of the year in August. Normally, we have it in October. So a little bit different situation. So I wasn't used to fishing down there in that time of the year, but I'm used to fishing hot weather. So what I concentrated on, I wanted to concentrate on any cooler water, any grass, or any kind of structure like that. So that was my mindset in practice. Of course, we had wind. My goal was to fish the grass edges with spinnerbait because we had wind pretty much all the days and stuff. So I really thought I was gonna have a really good spinnerbait bite, but that did not pan out at all. I mean, I did not have a spinnerbait bite. And I love to throw in a spinnerbait. From there, I went and tried the bridge. I caught some small fish at the bridge. So I thought I could catch a small limit drop shot because I got to the bridge. I caught a couple of fish really quick. So I didn't really want to kind of burn it out. So I figured I could go to the bridge and at least catch a small limit. Come tournament day, I did all that. I did fish a little spinnerbait again because I just could not put that down because I said, hey, eventually these fish have to eat a spinnerbait, which they did not. Went to the bridge, and that deal did not pan out. I don't know if the wind direction was wrong or whatever, but that deal didn't pan out. But I did manage to catch 3 fish on the first day. I think I had 6 pounds, something like that, which Sid mentioned I was in 63rd place. And we went back to the house we were staying. We kind of all talked about it. Hey, what are we going to do the next day? Because it was like a train wreck. We didn't know what to do. So as Sid mentioned, we were basically fishing the same area day two. And basically, I said, hey, if I'm going to make a move, I have to catch big fish. And so I knew the area that we were talking about had hydrilla. And so my goal was I was gonna go in that area and just flip the heavy hydrilla and hopefully catch a big bite because again with the hydrilla, cooler water and stuff like that, the bass should be there. So like I said, me and Sid was in that area and I worked it and did not get a bite in there. Did not get a bite. So as I started to move around, I caught one fish leaving the hydrilla off a dock. I threw a speed worm up by the dock. And he hit it, and I managed to catch that one. So on the way out, I noticed there's a point with a channel swing that runs up to the point. And I saw people keep running to that point, fishing that point and leaving. So I was like, hey, I'm gonna go up and fish this point. It had it looked like some decent grasses on it and stuff like that. As I was motoring up to it, actually trolling up to it, I noticed this big, it appeared to be a lily pad patch, a big, maybe about 200, about 150 yard stretch of, lily pads. But as I got closer to it, I realized they really wasn't lily pad. They were called what you call elephant ears. They kind of look like lily pads, but they're shaped a little bit longer and stuff like that. And so as I got closer to them, I noticed the water depth was still about 8 feet. And I got up to the edge of them. I was like, man, this is 8 feet. And they were growing right on the edge of there. So I flipped my Cinco up there and boom, I caught a little small fish. I was like, okay. So I just let me try this. Went around the edge again and flipped the Cinco in there again. Boom, caught another decent fish. I was like, okay, I'm staying here now. So not only did I have the water depth, I had cover that the fish were utilizing. And so it was about 9:30, and I milked that spot for all going in and out of lily pad, and that's how I managed to catch those that 19 pounder out of there just like that. So yeah, I wish I would have found that. I'm not saying I wish I would have found it because I saw it in practice, but I didn't. It never clicked. So yeah.
So you're focusing on the elephant ear versus the lily pads. You're focusing on
Yes.
the fact that they were growing out about 6 to 8 foot right there, and those fish were either. Were you catching them did you feel you're catching them right next to the stem at the bottom?
So the elephant ears, they were making like a canopy, so you can see the distinct edge of them. So when I started going down the edge, just flipping the edge because you had a wind that was blowing in on them. So I was fishing the edge and stuff. So I caught a couple like that. They were no big fish; they were small fish. And as I went around, I started going kind of in the middle, and so I flipped some in the middle. And I caught a decent fish, about 2.5, 3 pounders. So I was like, okay. Maybe they're not on the smaller fish was on the edge and the bigger fish were in the thicker part, which was making the canopy and the shades and stuff. And so that's what I started doing, just kind of weaving in and out of there, flipping over. My boat was still in 5, 6 feet of water. And I did have lily pads in the back of me, but the lily pad was growing in, 2 foot of water and stuff like that. So I went over there, kind of tried that just to eliminate that, didn't get a bite. I went back to the elephant ears. So I think along with that depth and the shade that the elephant ears was creating, that's what congregated, and probably the wind that was blowing in on that congregated the fish in that particular area, because you had that channel bank maybe about 75 yards from that.
Okay. Now, one of the things you said you're throwing Cinco. Tell us how you had that Cinco rigged.
Well, here's my setup. I had this is my Dobbins Fury series. It's a 7.3 extra heavy. This is what I use for my pitching. 7.3 my pitching. I have a what is this? This is my Abu Garcia STX reel 8-to-1, 65-pound braid. I had a 1/2 ounce weight, and actually this is a different hook. I was using a worm hook, 3/0 worm hook. This is my flipping hook, but I had a 3/0 worm hook. I think that if the 3/0 worm hook fits better on the Cinco than a regular flipping hook. And I was using the Bass Pro Shop Sticko Junebug color Cinco here. And like I said, I was using the HD worm hook, which fit perfectly in here, and this 1/2 ounce, and had it pegged and stuff, and just flip it in there in the thick part. And a lot of times they would hit it before it got to the bottom. And so I knew I was in, 6, 7 feet of water. And so, when you flip it long enough, when that sensation kind of like, you lift up, you feel that, you're like, yeah. And sometimes I didn't even get a chance to catch up with him. I flip it in there and I look down and I see the line heading the other way. Now, that's why that 8-to-1 was real important, to try to catch up with him and stick him.
Now, is that a 5-inch or a 6-inch Cinco?
This is I don't remember which one it was. I think it's a 6-inch.
That's
just a standard. This is standard 6-inch Cinco.
That's awesome. Now that means because Harris Chain is known for their big bass, so don't be afraid to throw a 6-inch versus a 5-inch. Like Patrick's saying, and have a 8-to-1. most
Yeah.
of my reels are 8-1. I have still some that are 7, and I have a few that are still 6. But that 8-1, I'm telling you, you got to get on those fish.
Yeah.
They're on
And
it.
it was a couple fish, I pitched in there, and like I said, kind of like counted down, but watching it go down, it's heading the other way. I mean, I'm trying to catch up with and stick them and stuff like that. So it definitely made a difference. Like I said, this Dobbin extra heavy flipping rod or pitching rod. This is, to me, this is one of the best rods I've used as far as that. I mean, you got the 7.3, and you got a nice tip on it and stuff like that. It's really good backbone to drive the hook on these fish. So it was a really good setup. Again, I think the half-ounce weight was key also. It wasn't a slow fall. It wasn't too fast. I think it was more reactionary, that it got down, since it was, I'm saying, 7 to 8 feet. It got down there, pretty quick. And they had to make a instinct, hey, should I eat this or not? And 95% of the time, they were hitting it either on a drop, or as soon as it got to the bottom, I lifted one time and hit it. And so that was the key.
That's awesome. Now, also, this was my first time ever on the Harris chain, but Patrick, you've been there multiple times. You chose to fish Lake Harris, and the bridge that he was talking about was the bridge that separates Harris and Little Harris, correct?
Yes. Yeah. And again, like Sig mentioned, you can spend a lot of time and a lot of gas running the different lakes and stuff like that. Being my second time down there, I said I'm just going to stick in Harris, Big Harris. You can run the Griffin, you can run all these other lakes, but that's time. And if you get stuck behind a lock, something happened, or a manatee's in there, you can find yourself in a world of hurt. A lot of this stuff is idle zone. So for me, to maximize my fishing time, I just concentrate on Big Harris. There's plenty of fish in there, plenty of cover, plenty of coves and stuff to fish. Things that I like to do: spinnerbait, flipping, and it wasn't a lot of traffic there. So, sometimes you just have to not worry about what other people are doing, trying to make that long run, unless you know for a fact that you're going to catch fish there. So you can burn a half tank of gas or half a day fishing and get there and not do anything. So I said I'd rather maximize my time in Big Harris. I ran the Little Harris just a little bit, but it was either Big Harris or none. That was it for me.
That's awesome. Hey, Calvin, Jason, jump in here if you have any questions for Patrick.
Did you feel that if you had maybe put a leader on it, could have changed things, or were they not line shy at all?
I'm sorry to hear the first part.
Sorry, I don't know if my audio is all right here. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, what? Okay. Yeah, you're breaking in and out, but that's okay. I got the question. The question is these fish are not line shy, are they? What were you using for line?
Oh, no, I was 65-pound braid. 65-pound braid. I mean, the water is not. It has a little stain to it, but me personally, if you're going to flip in Florida, if you flipping with anything less than 65-pound braid, you're trying to get your feelings hurt. That is the honest truth, because a lot of those fish got hung up in the elephant ears, and I had the strength to either winch them out or stick them up against the elephant ears, and I can go down and grab them. Where if you flip with anything less, not saying that it won't do the job, but I'd rather be safe than sorry when it comes to flipping in here in Florida. I definitely wouldn't flip with fluorocarbon. I had my feelings hurt doing that before, and I would never flip with fluorocarbon again. Just because even 20-pound fluorocarbon, I would not do that. I would never do that again. No.
Yeah. I hear you.
Patrick, another question. Out of your years of fishing the Harris chain, are there more than one area, or is there a large amount of elephant ears in the Big Harris itself? Are there other areas?
So unfortunately, like I said, I didn't concentrate on that, because I really thought that being that time of the year and the weather condition, I could go down the grass line, because there's a bunch of grass line, the reeds and stuff like that, Kissimmee grass, that I could go down the grass line with a spinnerbait or a flipping stick and catch fish, because you had the Kissimmee grass in 4 feet of water, kind of thick and stuff like that. That's always a key player. So I never thought to think about elephant ears. I never thought that. It's just when I was going up to that point, I happened to look over and I said, okay, this is I thought a big pad of lily pads. So let me at least go over here and try. And as I got closer, that's when I noticed there was elephant ears. And then when I got closer, when I realized they were in, the depth of water they were in, I was like, okay, hot. The wind is blowing on it. Let me flip the base of these. And sometimes you have to just go with your instinct and just try. So I didn't think about concentrating on elephant ears, because at that point, it was day 2, and it was like I said, we were flipping the hydrilla off the back of the island. That was my primary deal. I never thought about the elephant ears or lily pads at all. It was just one of those. I saw them when I was coming out. I said, let me fish them, and the rest is history.
How deep were the canopies of these lily pads sitting under the water?
Well, the elephant ears were sitting, of course, right on top of the water, and they were all mangled together and making a big canopy and stuff like that. And beneath them, like I said, anywhere between 6 and 8 foot of water, depending on if I was on the inside or the outside, but they were roughly in 6 to 8 feet of water. And again, the lily pad, which was next to the bank, was only like 2-3 feet of water. And remember, it was August, so it was hot. So those fish preferred that deeper water, the thicker canopy of the elephant ears, to make it a cooler spot for them to rest in.
Right.
100%.
Yeah, I'd like to add something here too, and this is really important with us tournament fishermen, is that Patrick didn't get taken out of the game. He actually went in and made it happen on day 2, which a lot of people, I've had this happen to me over the years. I can have a bad day and I take myself out of the tournament. I always say there's three things that you focus on when you're tournament fishing. One is you fish against yourself. It's a mental game. You can take yourself in and you can put yourself back into the game if you want to. It's all about the mental. Second is you're fishing against the fish. And then third, and way down there, third, is you're fishing against the other competitors. And you heard Patrick say earlier, he don't really care about what everyone else is doing or what everyone else is talking about on the dock. Okay, he was focused on the mental game, and he did it on day 2. That is so important. As you two are young, if you guys can figure that out right away, it just steps up your game so much more.
Absolutely, and Sig hit it right. I mean, it's something that it sounds simple, but as a competitive person, you always looking at the other person, or you hear, oh man, there's Kevin Van Dam, there's Mike Iaconelli, blah 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 blah. And you automatically, sometimes you get yourself spun out before you even get on the lake, because you're looking at somebody else and hey, they caught him before. But they have to go out and catch him just like you have to catch him. You have to put the work in, the practice in to find the fish. So it's an even playing field when you go out there. So like Sid mentioned, if you can get over that mental barrier and understand, I'm fishing against the fish first, and I'm fishing against myself first, and then the competitors last, you will have an edge. Because like Sid mentioned, a lot of people spin themselves out, take themselves out of the tournament because they had a bad day 1, and spin themselves out. Kind of a short story. One of our club president a few years ago, a guy named Jeremy Stout, I'll go ahead and mention his name. He was fishing the ABA championship at Lake Eufaula, and he was fishing as a non-boater. And the first day, I think he had 2 fish for like 6 pounds or something like that. He was in like 97th place, something way down there, way down. And so he called everybody. He was like, hey man, I don't think I'm going to fish tomorrow. Everything sucked, blah, blah, blah. And me and a couple other people said, hey man, just fish. You already up there, just fish. And the next day, believe it or not, he got with a boater and he ended up winning the national championship on the co-angler side. He ended up winning, and he almost took himself out of it. And he will tell you, we gave him the encouragement to, dude, you're already up there. Keep fishing. You never know what tomorrow is going to bring. And he got a boulder. I mean, he caught I think 2 6-pounders or something like that, and won the national championship. So if he could be on it, he would tell you that never give up. Never take yourself out of a tournament, even though you had a bad day one. Because he went from I'm going to drive home to hoisting the Ray Scott National Championship boulder, and he won a boat.
There you go.
So
I hope he took you guys for a ride in his new boat.
you know, we talked about that, and actually it was a Triton. So yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hey guys, any other
Lovely.
questions?
Yeah.
I did have one question. Was when you were fishing the bridge, were you fishing pylons or were you fishing like drop-offs or shell beds by the bridge? Because I know that there would be a lot of wind and current by the bridges. So what exactly were you talking?
So I was fishing, like you said, I was fishing, and I don't know much about the shell beds. I'm not that great with my electronics to understand what a shell bed looks like. But I was fishing the pylon break. So the wind was coming in on the pylon. So I was kind of like throwing up past the pylon and let it drift alongside the pylon and behind the pylons where the fish will be out of wind, the breaks and stuff like that. And like I said, that's basically what a drop shot. I had a Aaron Martin special, margarita special, something like that, drop shot, worm or something like that, drop shot where you just throwing it up there and let it drift along the pylon, and they would just hit it and run with it. So I don't know in practice what was different the day of the competition. I'm not sure why they didn't bite that day, but I gave it a shot. I thought I could catch a limit there, but it didn't pan out for whatever reason.
How far was the elephant ears from where you launched? Where did you launch? Sorry, good question.
It's a good, with my boat, it's a good 10-minute run.
Yeah, it's across. Yeah, it's across pretty much across the lake.
Yeah, it is.
Across the lake, down lake.
Yeah, it's about a 10-minute run, and I can tell you this. I think we've spoke about it before, but when Buddy. What's Buddy's last name from the Bassmaster Elites? Buddy Gross. When Buddy won, he was fishing the exact same area. Okay.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, it seemed like most of the elites were fishing in that area. Okay. Mm-hmm. So that is an awesome area. It is. I believe. Don't hold me to this, but they don't kill the hydrilla in that area. They leave it for natural habitat, and that's just a guess. And I heard that from somebody, but that hydrilla is key. Those elephant ears, it's just real fishy in that area.
Yeah. And you guys be was it next month or December? You guys gonna be fishing
next weekend?
Next month.
Oh, next weekend?
No. Next month. They're coming.
Beginning of next month.
Yeah, okay. The day after, I'm picking them up the day after Thanksgiving.
Okay. Well, yeah, with you guys, it's gonna be it should be a different tournament. I mean, the fish down there will probably start, pre-spawn, pre-staging and stuff like that down there at that time, because the part of Florida and stuff like that. So they should definitely be on the move. Thinking about spawning. So if I was going down there again, which I would love to, I would definitely think about staging points where the fish where they want to go spawn. That's first, figure that out. Hey, where they want to go spawn and work out from there. Okay, they're not spawning yet, but they're going to be spawning here in the next month and a half. And so you just follow that part out and kind of intersect where they are, because where they want to go. They want to go spawn. And so just go from there and go out and kind of figure out where the structure break is, where, grass mats are holding them till they go spawn. That's what I would do.
Awesome. Any other questions, guys?
No, that is all.
Good from my end.
Okay, awesome. Hey, Patrick, thanks again. And congratulations on a phenomenal finish, coming in with the largest sack, biggest fish day 2, and moving up 51 spots. That's awesome. And I appreciate it. And guys, look forward to picking you up here shortly. Patrick, if I don't talk to you, have a Merry Christmas and Happy Thanksgiving. And guys, remember, you're just one cast away.